gentlemen, we just had a pretty spectacular Protoss vs. Protoss finals. Epic conclusion. Our first and second seeds have been decided, but it's time to decide our third.
Yeah. You know, we were talking about the finals. Really, really important, of course, in terms of seeding, in terms of money. But these two guys, TY and Sora, they are going to be clawing their way. They're trying so hard to get this third place spot. Unfortunately, both of them lost yesterday in the semifinals and put themselves in this position.
Yeah, as you can see, poor TY taking that 0-3 loss to Stats, taking a very narrow victory over expert ZBT player Dark. No easy feat there. He looked really on top of his game. He looked really, really strong in that particular series, but against Stats yesterday, it looked a little bit shaky. Stats honestly played incredibly, but TY seemed to be affected by his first two losses and didn't live up to the hype that a lot of people were expecting him to bring.
Yeah, you know, and against Dark, like you mentioned, he looked really, really good. And then the next day, he just looks a little bit weak. I get this feeling about TY, not that he's like alternating days to play well, just that he's just a little bit inconsistent. When he gets behind in a series, he just gets down on himself a little bit, and he's just not as confident and stuff like this. I feel like it affects him a lot.
Yeah. Well, here's Sora, his opponent, a runner-up from last season's WCG, got seeded into this tournament from that. As you can see, he took a very impressive first place in his round of 16, then beat Zest 3-0 in the round of 8. Gets showstopped by Hero, though, in his first loss, 3-1. Taking a pretty impressive game, though, making that Protoss vs. Protoss his, because that's what Sora does best in PvP. When it comes to the matchup versus Terran, he's beaten greats in the past. He did very well in the last qualifiers for WCG before he even did well in the finals, and he looked really, really strong. He made a huge name for himself, and a lot of people were really excited that he's going to be a new and up-and-coming top player for CJ. He hasn't lived up for that as much just yet, but this tournament could be his tournament again. He's gone all the way now to this third place match, and now he just needs to win 3 games in order to go to WECG, of course, this year, the sister tournament.
Yep. Well, let's get right into it, Wolf. Here, going right into the bans, we got Deadwing here for TY. Does not want to play on that gigantic map, and then Catalina, very popular ban, that Nimbus by Protoss is against Terran here.
Yeah. So, down their last is Foxtrot Labs, and we see an early Sejong pick coming out from TY.
That's interesting. Didn't he ban that yesterday? I feel like, I get that feeling like he did.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I believe that's
I'm pretty sure, because I remember I was just like, I know he likes to do that kind of drop play with the Marines and the medevac, and then just setting up the Hellions up to the front, up to the natural. But then he banned it, so I was like, that's pretty interesting.
That is interesting. Maybe he wants to play a totally different game today. I mean, you and I were talking about this actually during one of our breaks, but TY is the type of player that likes to play his game no matter what happens in a series. And he plans oftentimes build orders for maps, as if every single game is a different best of 1 for him. So he may have a completely different set of set of builds and ideas and plans he's got going into today's matches on completely different maps. All right, guys, let's find out who's going to take the lead here going into our 3rd and 4th place match of the Korea Nationals.
Down here in the bottom right in the red, the Terran player, it is TY.
And to the top left in blue, his opponent, runner-up from last season's WCG, it's Sora for CJ. There was a big chant, a big crowd, yelling for TY specifically, but also I heard out there a big chant and shout for Terran as a race. As you can see, that TY is our only Terran representative here in the top 4. And TY definitely the fan favorite here, especially with who we've got live in the studio.
Yeah. This guy brings all the girls to the studio, that's for sure.
He really does. He's one of those handsome KT pros, or rather, we've got some pros players, but he's one of the Terrans here.
Yeah.
Of course, Flash being another one, and most notably recently Zest. And look at this, a gas first, starting things off. a little bit aggressive.
Yep. One set, very fast factory. And I would not be surprised if he goes for that drop play we were talking about before this game started.
Absolutely. The question is, which drop play is it going to be? We see a lot of success on this map with the Hellion Marine drop. Usually, Marines get dropped in the main, the Hellions run in, but sometimes you see the opposite happen. It's really, based on what you think your opponent is going to do, how he's going to react. And let's watch the building placement during all of this of Sora's pylons, because that can oftentimes save you against Hellions in the main base. They can get trapped back there behind those buildings. And he's already setting up a little bit of a wall near his assimilator.
Yeah, very true. Pretty early scout here for Sora. Wants to know for sure what TY is doing. Maybe wants to see if CC Burst is coming down. And once he sees the timing of that barracks, actually, he may get a little bit suspicious. He's like, this isn't the timing for the barracks to finish. Yeah,
he definitely knows this is gas first.
Yeah, and he's going to see the factory come down right away if he stays long enough.
In fact, he may even block the factory for a second here. He's going to block this wall. The SCV getting pretty touchy, though, so he can't really stick around too much because that Marine's coming as well. Factory is not actually placed right at the top. But what else could this be? This is no gas first Reaper. This is no like rush to the fast +1 with like a hidden proxy eBay or something. This is definitely a factory play. And now he's going to, of course, know how to respond. What he might want to do also is check for proxied factories, because TY has been known to do that in the past. He's checking behind the main base right now. In fact, it looks like he may be doing a little bit more than checking.
Yeah. Looks like this could be Stargate just based on the positioning here. It's like one of the closest proxies you can do by air, and it's going to be able to get right into the main base very, very quickly.
Now, what wouldn't be bad against a build like this would actually be Oracle into Phoenix, because the Phoenixes give you a little bit of wiggle room to help defend the drops. The Oracles do a ton of damage while your opponent's away with all of his Marines, and Widow Mines or whatever he decides to go for. It is going to be Widow Mines this time. But it does also give you a lack of units at home, so it's a bit of a catch-22 in that way. Let's see what he decides to do, because he hasn't made anything just yet, just a pylon.
Yeah, decides to make a second Stalker here before putting down that tech. And we got this SCV already on the scout here.
Yep.
I get a feel that he senses something if he is up here.
There's also that Widow Mine just straight up here in the main. We are going to be seeing Hellions. This is a great way to just say, all right, if you do this, I've got your number. If you actually are not paying 100% control to your Oracle, you're going to lose it to that Widow Mine every time. And even if you are paying attention to it, some of the time you're going to lose it. It's really difficult to actually, go for that sort of harassment and react quickly enough to a Widow Mine that's in the mineral line.
Very true. First Hellion coming out here, second one on the way.
Yep. And the medevac is out as well. Stargate's finishing up now. There's that Oracle. Another Widow Mine's actually being queued as well here. So TY is actually just playing a kind of a funky way to expand here. He's going to drop that CC now, and is not committing like insanely to a drop.
Yeah, very interesting. Just like early, early scouts with the Hellions and these early defense against Oracles with the Widow Mine in his main base, while he goes for a small drop here in the main.
All right, so here's the drop. Already Sora's, of course, ready for this. He saw the gas first. And is he going to get hit by the Widow Mine? No. Deft control here. And he's actually going to get 2 kills already. And he's just going to lurk on the other side over here on hold position where he knows it's safe. A bit iffy going for that one. Meanwhile, the drop is totally shut down. Hellions come over here. There's no probes to be killed.
Yeah. So, wow, that was like some really nice Oracle control going in there.
TY just needs to make sure his transition is good, because this obviously didn't do the damage that he wanted, and he lost a few SCVs, but it's not the end of the world. Could definitely be something he can recover from. It's just really unfortunate for him that his CC's even on the high ground for extra safety. Now that Stargate's been scouted, he's going to eventually be able to wipe that out. But the Oracle, well, I was going to say he could try to deny the Hellions, but not with a Viking and that chasing medevac. He's going to send some Stalkers across the map, though.
We got a tank on the way.
Yeah. TY loves to do this after his drops because it gives you a lot of extra safety against this type of counterattack. When you go for this build as a Terran, you leave yourself open to having a small army, especially if you end up losing your units in the drop while you're harassing. So I like this choice to get the siege tank out. He's probably only going to make one, but actually does start a second one. Wow. Of course, scouted, so he knows to be careful.
Very interesting style here. We got 5 Stalkers here with this Oracle. Just trying to protect it against the Viking.
Bravest Viking ever, in fact, with all those stalkers out there. Viking's like, I'm not even scared of the stars. I'm going to just go do shield damage to that Oracle. Double Hellion drop headed towards the main. There's nothing here. Nothing but probes. Let's see if he gets any kills. Looks like the answer is no. A very quick reaction, though. He's even going to harass that pylon. Oh!
Getting caught out a bit here. One Hellion's not really going to do much. And just a bit of attacking with the probes, and the stalkers are able to clean up here.
But I got to say, for TY, he definitely tried to make the most of those Hellions. That control was pretty impressive, all things considered. Now, look at the army supply here. A massive lead goes to TY. He's built this stalker, or rather built this marine army up that could deal with these stalkers. He's moving across the map. Looks like siege tanks in tow.
Yeah. Very interesting push here. You know, it looks like he's going towards the rocks. Maybe he wants to elevator up to the side of the main base and get those tanks on the low ground. In the meantime, we do have an Oracle in the main base of TY doing a lot of damage here. Maybe able to get 2 mules. That is gigantic, actually, in terms of minerals.
TY is playing very panicked. He made several very, very poor decisions, to be frank, right at this exact moment. One is not leaving enough units for an Oracle, knowing there was an Oracle there. The other was dropping 2 mules underneath an Oracle that was firing. He's still got a solid position over here, but with this Colossus here, I think he's actually going to be totally fine. There's no bunker yet. And this is looking pretty rough, man. He's just going to be able to stutter step his way under the tanks.
Total cleanup here. Tank's not able to do anything right now.
But
a big drop in the main, though.
This changes everything. Might be able to snipe the Mothership core. He's going to go for probes instead, it looks like, and actually going to get a stalker here.
The medevac control keeping that alive somehow. Marine's getting a lot of damage done here. 8 probe kills in total.
And those stalkers, not a bad trade. Even an SCV getting involved.
In the meantime, Oracle able to get 2 more kills.
So let's take a look at where we're at in this game. 44 to 35, a pretty common disparity in workers. The bigger problem being that the 3rd Nexus is up, so he can produce 3 probes in just a second. I mean, it's nearly completed. The probes have already been transferred. He's going to be able to make 3 probes at a time. He's got that extra chrono energy. He has this Colossus tech that so far has no answer, only a few Vikings, and he's got this comfort that he's so comfortable he can hold the 3rd base and drop double forges. That's the position that Sora's in right now. So TY got to be frustrated here. He's going to have to make something happen, maybe with his stim when it finishes, because his 3rd base is so far behind.
Nice revelation here. Going to have a huge idea of exactly where all the units of TY are. It's pretty much the most he can get done at this point. The Oracle very low.
Call down supply. Do you get the feeling that TY plays a bit nervous today?
Yeah.
Is just a bit of shakiness?
Definitely. I mean, he starts with the build that's, you know, not the most popular build. We'll hold that thought. We're getting more damage done here.
I can't believe he's kept that Oracle alive this long. 16 kills.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that Oracle has 16 kills.
So TY goes for a push that's, you know, not the most common push. I feel like this is, like you were saying, he prepared this build for Sejong to come over to the rocks and harass the gas there with the tanks, but it just gets totally shut down, and he's just looking a bit shaky today.
Well, he didn't leave enough Marines for the Oracle, and he wasn't ready for that. That was the biggest problem, I think, with how the rest of this game is going, because then he got camped. Look at the control of Sora. He's able to save this again. It's now up to 18 kills.
That's unbelievable, actually.
He just catches reinforcements, keeps it alive. This is a big drop. TY is really showing his style today. Loves mega big drops, love his siege tanks, love his sieging up on the gas. Let's see if this part of his style actually comes through for him. Big drop here in the main. Not a whole lot of defense here. And that bay is actually a bit exposed. Looks like he's going to go for the Nexus. He's got 2 widow mines here as well.
Big stim up here, but the whole army of Sora is back. We do have the range of the Colossi as well. Big blink forward as well. Able to clean up the tank here.
Some decent damage done here. Forcing that Nexus cannon, forcing this Protoss armor to be back at home. And he still keeps the units alive. Widowmine actually still in the main base as well. Now he's going to sneak over this 3rd base, maybe pick off a few probes on his way out, catches a Zealot, and just needs to pick up and get out of there. +1 is finished for him now. Unfortunately, 1-1 for his opponent is about to complete. Another pressure move over here with even a Viking joining the mix. But he's got to be careful. He doesn't want to lose too many of these small groups of units. It's going to already stack up against him.
Especially with so many Stalkers out on the map with Blink already. Sora's just doing a really good job of controlling and defending all of his bases at this moment in time.
Oh, that's unfortunate, losing that medevac as well. At least it wasn't one of the more full ones. Ooh! Almost even whiffs a scan.
Yeah.
And the Oracle's here to tag.
The Oracle that's still alive, that got 18 kills in this entire game. Big play forward. Udamine does drop down here, but doesn't get a good hit. It actually does. Very nice targeting there.
Yeah, I think that was the best hit he could have hoped for.
6 probe kills.
Plus a Stalker and a lot of splash damage. Drops one Marine here.
The most unlucky Marine.
And with the Nexus Cannon and the Colossus over here, he's not going to be able to get much done. In fact, he might want to just go ahead and pick up a right now. So many units. He even blinks forward.
Yeah, loses a medevac as well. He's just trying to do too much. And out in the middle of the map, he's not going to take much of a fight here. Not even in the middle of the map. He's just going to GG out here.
All of these moves were desperation. Not because they're bad moves, but because when you do moves like this normally, when your drop harass is really good, like TY's drop harass is really good, you can get a lot of damage done, but not when you're this far behind. Your opponent has enough units to defend 3 locations at once with Nexus cannons, with Blink. It was something he was hoping that Sora's defense would be lackluster enough to get him back into this game. Didn't happen. Sora with a solid defense and a really good control on his Oracle. That was the game-winning unit.
Yeah, definitely.
Never even died, man.
MVP unit right there.
That one Oracle in the hands of a pro player. One of our best process in the world. Look what it can get you.